Scrappy Peeps, Susanna here today for Scrapbook Your Joy. I am guest designing and I am creating with the new Cocoa Vanilla Sunkissed collection, and this is the first of two layouts that I have to share with you using this collection. So to start with, I am using a Pear Tree digital cut file. My original plan had been to work with this color palette of pink, orange, and yellow. And so I have the outline cut in white. I have the yellow backing for the florals in that yellow. And then I have the mum using that ombre effect. I saw this rainbow page and I thought I had to incorporate that, and my plan had been that I would overlap each color. So the pink is over the pink, the orange is over the orange, and the yellow is over the yellow of the title, and then continue that across the page. And so to complete the title, instead of just mum, because that's, mum, what's that mean? So I thought this cut apart that says best ever would be a great way to add a little more color to the layout, as well as be able to complete the title so that it was best mum ever. My journaling and the title don't match. I don't journal about how she is the best mom ever, even though she is. It's more of, less of a tribute page and more of the story of the photo itself. So with this, to complete mum, I just cut out the florals with my silhouette. The rest of it I am going to fussy cut out because figuring that out in Silhouette's Design Studio was way harder than just using my scissors. I could have left the yellow behind and then overlapped the layers, but what I was worried about is if I had yellow behind the first M and then not behind the U and the M, that I was going to end up getting different depths of layers. And while it's not terribly important, I wanted it to be consistent all the way through, because that's just the way that my brain functions. So I'm using a fine tip applicator with my metal tip to use my Ultra Bond to just get those layers down and adhered. I like to have loose layers, but with these digital cut files, because I don't want the shadows, I definitely like the ability to get that fine tip glue there. So that is how I intend for this to go. But I want to add a little bit of yellow behind, or it needed the card with the white borders to me always needs something that needs a little bit of defining, and I like to layer, and so that yellow floral on the B side allowed me to add a little bit of distinction between the 3x4 card and the background there. So I want to pop this photo up on some foam, and I want to put a white background behind it because I didn't leave myself. I usually print my photos with a white background, but for some reason this didn't, and I didn't feel like reprinting it when there was nothing wrong with it. So I just add a little white cardstock, pop it up on some foam, and then that I'm going to adhere onto that turquoise sort of tone-on-tone paper that comes with the collection, and I liked the way that that then added that color in that rainbow to the page there, and ties that into the journal card with the best ever. I trim this, and then as I get to that right hand border, I was like, oh, it'd look really cool if I ripped it, because it goes to that same sort of ripped effect of the painted stripes. Ideally that rip would have been on the right hand side, but I had already adhered it down, and I'm telling you, this adhesive from ThermoWeb is permanent. It's not going anywhere. So then what I did off camera, I went to my sewing machine and I used as many threads as I had to stitch through each of the colors. So what I did was I straight stitched, switched to zigzag, and then straight stitched again. And so you have different lengths of thread hanging and different amounts of different placement of the zigzag there. So that is how I had intended things to proceed as I designed. You saw earlier in the video, but I really like this a lot better. And what this allows is me to be able to, the reason I did it was because the threads hanging down from the top gave you much longer tails. If they were hanging from the bottom, I literally was going to have to snip them off at a 1/2 inch. And I wanted more of the sort of dripped paint effect that the tails gave me, and it gave me that better up top. It also gave me more of a palette to create with down below the photo there. Whereas it wasn't going to, from a design principle standpoint, work as well with the elements above the photo. So I have that sort of more rigid top with the strings hanging down, and then I have that more flowy bottom to the layout there. And I liked the way that even though it changed, what it did was it changed, instead of the rainbow going across the page with the rainbow effects, it's just rainbow. And it made it a much looser uh, flow to the layout instead of that rigid sort of blue, green, yellow, pink, red, orange, or orange, pink, red. You get what I mean. So it allowed me to have a little bit more freedom in my design and my placement of color as well. So now I've got the letters, and I'm going to just stick them in where they belong. Again, those were cut out with my silhouette. Just a little bit more about Scrapbook Your Joy. So Scrapbook Your Joy, who I am guest designing for today with this collection, is a Canadian company. However, if you live in the US and you have not pre-ordered this and want to get all of the things, which Sandra has in the shop, if you spend 100 Canadian dollars, you get free shipping, and that is easy to do because she has the 2 new Pink Fresh Studio collections, Keeping It Real and Some Days, and you can easily get to $100 there. However, if you don't spend $100, there's just a flat rate $18 Canadian shipping fee, which isn't too bad. So I have the bulk of the layout there. It's just time to embellish now. When I opened the embellishment pack, these hearts fell out, and it was kind of a happy accident because it's not what I was looking for, but they look perfect at different levels up above that solid rainbow there. It sort of helps break that rainbow up a little bit and breaks that solid line to give it more of a loose flow like the bottom of the page is going to have. And I'm just going to put random elements. Most of what I'm going to actually end up using from this embellishment pack, the die cuts, are the phrases, because this is a very summer themed bright layout, and so a lot of the embellishments are like flip-flops and suns and things that are not relevant to this page, but yet the phrases are definitely usable. I could have used the clouds, but again, I wanted to save that to go with the sun. Another option that you have for embellishments are those florals that you just saw me put away. I'm actually going to pull them out again, and I definitely recommend those. If you pick up this collection, you need those florals. While there is definitely the pattern paper that you can fussy cut, it saves you having to do too much fussy cutting. So part of what's going on here is I'm fighting with all of these strings. Literally each of the 11 colors that I have stitched with and had to thread the needle with, by the way. Some of the threads are really, really long. And so I need to, after I get all of this done, I am going to clean that up because it is starting to really bug me. And I have sort of, well, not sort of, I have reached a more definite placement of how I want these things to go. Adhere all of this down first because I know this is where I want these things to go, and then I can flip it over and clean up a little bit. There we go. So just a little bit of cleanup there, and then it'll be easier to design the rest of the page there. There we go. So you can see how I've softened up the top, looks a lot better, but I still have this collection of dominant pink, orange, and yellow down the bottom there, and I want to break that up and incorporate a little bit more of the rainbow into it. So I'm using the stickers that come with the collection, and that arrow right there is a perfect way of incorporating more of the rainbow into it, and it creates a little bit more balance along with that blue. See how that just, the weight of light objects and dark objects, that balance is created right there with that blue sticker and that rainbow arrow there. I have a pink puffy sticker with the florals that I will change because again that adds to that pink, yellow, orange look that I've got going there, which is not what I want. I want to break that up a little bit, and I'm going to cut apart this floral, which allows me to just use it in 2 places, again to disperse the color a little bit more. You'll see how when I've got that other shot of green on that right hand side, bam, right there, it just, again, it creates more of that horizontal effect and softens up that line where it just seems like this blob of yellow there. So, and that's where I swap out the pink sticker for the blue. And while I didn't pull a lot of color into that bottom cluster at the left there, it adds, it's perfect to integrate that into the whole layout there. Then the other thing that I did with the puffy stickers is I just use those tiny little hearts, and put pink on pink, orange on orange, and aqua on aqua. I didn't need to, but it was just a fun little element to embellish the um, journal card there, and I will journal there and journal off camera. So you saw me pointing to the top right of the photo there. I am not a fan of that white space there. You know I am a big fan of white space, but there's something about it that just is distracting to me, and so I'm going to fussy cut this blue floral. Again, it provides some heavy weight of color to the top right there. See, isn't that, it evens the layout a little bit better. That glaring white space just was distracting. And because my photo is up on foam, I need to also pop the part of this that is not going to be on the photo on foam as well. Although I like to have some of the loose edges, it adds to the movement of the page, which I am all about. Next, I'm going to use one of the clear stickers just to add a little bit more rainbow to the bottom, and that is going to wrap up the page. I will stamp with an LE Studio date stamp in the blue square, the date. And yeah, that wraps it up, my friends. So if you have any questions about Scrapbook Your Joy, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below, or any of my design process, please don't hesitate to leave questions about that also in the box down below. Enjoy the close-ups. Be sure to head over to my IG channel because I have a little giveaway going on over there as well. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.